guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if your name is Sean Diddy John Combs, baby, I know Mark Agnifilio got you excited for a moment, but baby, you going to jail. Y'all, what happened in court today? First of all, this is the finished makeup from ABC. If you guys didn't see, I went live with ABC News Live for Burden of Proof, and then later on, Nightline. That'll be out today. I know there was a little kerfuffle with the makeup, but look, she did a really good job with the eye. I'm not even joking. She did a really good job with the eye. And next time I'll bring my own blush, but it was cool. But I don't know. You know how it is. When you're on camera, it actually comes out really good. Okay, so what is actually going on? Let's talk about it. Diddy, baby, that boy is going to jail. And I know Diddy's family got a little moment of life, but it's not adding up. You guys, Diddy's team got humiliated in the court. I have my notes. Let's get to this. Diddy got humiliated in the court. Mark Agnifilio, I feel like he was Icarus. He flew too close to the sun. Don't get me wrong. I got Mark Agnifilio a lot of grief. Yana, we got 30 million reasons. He always sounds like some mob boss's lawyer. And oddly enough, he's Diddy's lawyer, okay? He always sounds like some can y'all hear me? He always sounds like a mob boss's lawyer, right? But listen, yes, I think the makeup artist did an amazing job. An amazing job, you know? Teamwork makes the dream work. But we got some blush that warmed up the skin, but she did an amazing job on the eyes. I'll give it to her. She did a great job on the eyes, right? A great job overall. Okay, I'm really thankful that she even took the time to do my makeup. All jokes aside, right? So anyway, when it comes to the Diddy mess, okay, Mark Agnifilio got in there and he had the jury. I'm not gonna lie, I was worried. He was joking with the jury. He was laughing with the jury. He was doing all this stuff with the jury. And then something happened, and I don't know what, but I do know that, let me take this off. It is too hot for this mess. Something happened, and I don't know, but then that just ruins my whole outfit. Oh well. Something happened, and I don't know what exactly it was, but something changed in Diddy's team. Diddy called everybody over, had a huddle, said all this stuff. And after that, Mark Agnifilio literally started doing the Cassie's a hoe. It seemed like he wanted Cassie to catch strays more than actually win his case. And the weird thing is, this is how you got messed up in the last time, right? This is how, no, hear me out. The defense was not a word salad. Mark Agnifilio was doing his thing, but then it got really weird. It got really creepy, got a little misogynistically. He started making some like, oh, she's a woman. She liked it. She was wild. She enjoyed all that Cassie. She enjoyed herself. Is this your whole defense? Cassie's a ho. It really had me looking at Diddy's team sideways. It had me looking at Diddy's team. Who said everybody was cheer? Well, I wasn't. Well, that's not true. The overflow room might have. I do know that when Mark Agnifilio did it, we got to give credit's due. He came out like gangbusters. He literally was. He had the jury laughing. He had all this stuff. Even like one juror that I swore wasn't on Mark's side was sitting there giggling along. Mark is a showman. He knows how to put on a show. But the defense took a weird misogynistic. I knew it was over. Mark stood in that courtroom and tried to replay the Cassie video and reimagine. He tried to make us reimagine the Cassie beating video. I said, oh, baby boy, you need to sit down. Mark tried to make us reimagine, right? Oh, thank you, Colleen. Colleen said you looked amazing on TV both days. Amazing. Thank you. Listen, the ABC makeup artists did their thing. They did their thing. Y'all just know I like a little pop of color, but she did an amazing job. Sorry you guys had to see that little kerfuffle where it was like a little stare off. So what are we doing? Are we going? And then one woman, she was a makeup artist, also beautiful woman. She actually loaned the makeup artist that was on me some deeper colored blushes. I just happen to like deeper colored blushes. Easy. People think I have a cool tone, but it's easy for me, my things to look ashy on my skin. Anyway, enough about the makeup. I'm grateful that anybody did it. But we need to talk about Diddy's team, okay? Mark Agnifilio tried to make us reimagine the Cassie tape. Let me take y'all to where it was, because there's a lot of bullshit they did, but let me just reimagine this. Mark standing there. All right. So now actually he was using the whole golly shucks thing, right? Which is my favorite voice. Sometimes he's, Yana, you need to listen. And other times Mark Agnifilio is like, golly shucks, it's my first day in the big city. Mark, shut up. He is a performer to his heart, right? So he was doing good. He had the jury. He was telling jokes. I mean, what's this about he's like, what's this about a RICO? These are just people. That's a family. You want to see a RICO? This is a RICO. And he showed a picture off of Mia's Instagram that had the whole bad boy family chilling. And they're like, does that look like a RICO to you? And I said, it does. I saw season 1 and 2 of Narcos. Pablo Escobar had the best family portraits there could be. What is you talking about? What are you talking about? When a RICO is on and popping, baby, those are going to get Hallmark memories. So when he was like, does this look like a RICO to you? I said, actually, this does look like season 1 of Narcos. But you know what, Mark? Never mind. I see your point. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, right? So then he moved into his old shucks farmer George thing. He said, and this is the funniest thing that I thought. He said, now, let's talk about what happened at the Intercontinental. When he said that, I sat back and I said, mofo, if you can sell what happened at the Intercontinental, I will personally write Diddy an apology note, because I said I don't see any way, shape, or hoo-ha, what that you can justify what happened at the Intercontinental Hotel. It's unjustifiable. Just say you are sorry and move on. Say, yeah, that happened and move on. There's no excuse. There's no anything. Like, what do you have to say? But Mark, he was feeling himself because he was Icarus. He flew too close to that sun. He was feeling himself. He was like, yes, you like that? He felt like he was in like late night Jay Leno, and the jokes were landing. The jury was whatever. The people friendly with him was like smiling. He had the jury in the palm of his hands, so much so that the U.S. attorneys, usually when Mark's giving his thing, they were looking straight. Halfway through, they just started sitting there looking at the jury, just looking. Why? Because it's strategy. They needed to see who on the jury they needed to flip, and who on the jury they needed to give a little extra attention. That's what you do when you're making your closing. You're speaking to people and try to persuade them. Okay, so what ended up happening, right? So they're doing like all this stuff, and Mark's like, yeah, I got him. And I'm like, he's like, let's talk about what happened at Intercontinental. I said, motherfucker, I'll give you I'll write 1,000,000 apology notes to Diddy right now if you can make this make sense, because you cannot turn this around. Mark was like, this is what he said. Hold on, I need my hands for this, because I have to show you what he did in the jury. Mark stood up and said, hold on. He stood up. Let's see if I can scoot back a little bit. Mark stood up and he was, can you guys get me? Let's do this. Mark stood up and he was like this. And then, so something happened. You don't really know whose fault it is. You know, it could have been his. It could have been hers. It could have been, nobody really knows who the aggressor was. You know, it could have been him, but I don't know. I want to show you guys. This is the same tape that Cassie got drop kicked down the hall. And I don't say that to be funny, and I don't say that to be smart. You had the nerve to sit here in this good Southern District of New York courthouse and literally say, I was shocked when he did this. Listen, I was shocked when he did this. Hold on, y'all. Let me get the exact verbiage, because it was a lot. I'll find it. Listen, we don't need exact verbiage. Baby, we got jazz hands. He literally stood up there and was like, and he kept pacing around the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, You got to think. Now let's talk about what happened at the Intercontinental. You know, it's unclear over who was the wrong one. Her. It's unclear. Who was the one that was the wrong one? It might have been him. Let's take it out. Now, mind you, this is after that he got yelled at by the judge because Maureen Comey and the Slavic and the U.S. attorneys were like, you want to cut this out. The founding forefront of our country, and I know everything seems to be going to hell, but baby, we still got rules and laws, right? And I know Diddy's like, boo. We still got rules and laws. But the founding principle of our country is, okay, the founding principle of our country is the fact that we have to have faith that the feds are keeping it clean. And for Mark Agnifilio, how much is Diddy paying you to even imply, it's okay to imply that, oh, maybe the feds had an ulterior motive. They're not perfect. Law enforcement isn't perfect. But to actually in the Southern District of New York in a federal court go and say, the feds were targeting my client. Yana, the feds were targeting my client. Yana. They literally stood up there and was like, excuse me, Your Honor, this is highly inappropriate. He is not allowed to say that we had ulterior motives. He's not allowed to go into the core of what we do and imply that we might be dirty. Diddy, I don't know who the F you think you are, but you are not that big to think the Southern District of New York needs to throw away all of their professional moral and ethics to bring you down. You are just nothing but a 2-bit producer. I don't care about your legacy. The Love album bombed. Never forget. Right? So anyway, listen. So anyway, right? All that mess happened. And they were so mad that the judge gave a curative instruction. Now, professionally, legally, that's a little bit embarrassing to give a curative instruction because when you get that, and I talked to a few legal analysis, the general consensus is it erodes the jury's trust in you. You up there flying high, but when the judge comes back and was like, listen, don't pay attention to what they said. First of all, I decide the law. And second of all, you're not allowed to say ish about the government. Now, some people can say that once a bell, ding, ding, has been rung, you can't unring it. But the whole point of the matter is Mark, right? The whole point of the matter is Mark was literally trying to take all the shit we've heard in gossip blogs, in the notes, in the pages, and on TMZ and bring that to us. That's also let me know another thing, right? I'll get up in a second, but this also let me know. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to make this hotel room work, right? But it also let me know a couple other things. All the crazy shit that's been coming from gossip blogs, TMZ, random narratives, that I 100% now believe they've been coming out of Diddy's camp. Because hear me out. Can you explain how everything in Mark's closing argument has been all the dumb theories on the internet? And let's say we're on the internet. You really did your whole defense was Cassie was a hoe, so she must have liked it. That's all he did. He was coming across as a hardcore sleazebag. He was, and again, before he got sleazy, I was like, oh, Mark Agnifilio might be a problem. But when he got sleazy, I was like, okay. Anyway, you literally said, so then let's get back to the Intercontinental. I'm getting ahead of myself because it was crazy. Let's get back to what he said in the Intercontinental, right? He said, let's take a look, right? He literally did this. So he's showing us the video, right? And we see Cassie running out the room barefoot with her bag in her hand, running out the room barefoot for her life. And you know that thing where she went barefoot because I don't even think she wanted the carpet to hear her go. And she was like, now let's pause it right here. And you see Cassie just mid barefoot going to the elevator. And I'm like, where's he going with this? He's like, now look very closely, just zoom in on that. What's that? There's something in her hand. Something we can't quite see, but there's something in her hand. And I was like, right? So even me, I'm peering forward like, there's something in her hand. What? So I'm peering forward like, where's he going this? He's like, no, play it 2 more seconds. She takes 2 more steps. Right there. he's pacing. I really don't know what to call it, but there's something in her hand. If you can see it, there's something in her hand. And I was like, there ain't ish in Cassie's hand except maybe her cell phone, because when Diddy yanked her backwards and drop kicked her, right? You saw like a phone or a lighter or something scatter. It might have actually been a lip gloss. The point of the matter is, Mark Agnifilio was trying to erode doubt so much. It's almost like he wanted us to believe that Cassie had a gun, or Cassie was like trying to steal money. I don't know. He was trying to create reasonable doubt, but what reasonable doubt, stupid? Whatever was in her hand when Diddy knocked her over and drop kicked her, right? It fell down and Diddy didn't try to pick it up. So whatever was in her hand, it wasn't a value. It wasn't Diddy. It wasn't a hammer. So like, what are we doing, Mark Agnifilio? And that's when I said, oh, here he comes with his bullshit. Here he comes with his bullshit. Then they're like, so I don't know what it is. I guess he was trying to create doubt in the jury, but even the jury was looking at him like, fool, we already know what it is. Then he starts pacing back and forth. And then you gotta look like Cassie. She loved him. She loved him a lot. She loved this man. Mark, get to the MFing point. She loved this man. This is before he went full on sleaze bag. She loved this man. Okay. She didn't want to see him get hurt. Maybe, right? And I'm like, what does that have to do with the beating video? So then they show the video when Sean is coming over to her. Like he is an absolute menace. And you know how much of a menace somebody has to be to try to abuse you with a towel on? What you are wearing literally look like Dora the Explorer Lego socks, like red and blue, look like 3-year-old socks with a towel coming up, menacing. You are out of your mind, right? So he's walking up on tour. And this is when Cassie's like, stay back, right? And she's like, see, immediately, right? She's communicating with him. She said he was not, what did he say? Cassie was not afraid of whatever was in that room. She wasn't running from whatever was in that room. She was just mad that he had hit her. Mark, have you lost your mind? You're trying to convince us, the jury, that this woman running out in the middle of a freak off, barefoot and getting drop kicked, wasn't afraid of what was in the room? No ish. She's afraid of the mofo standing in front of her. That man with the towel on and the Dora the Explorer 3-year-old Build-A-Bear socks. That mofo. That's who she's afraid of. It wasn't over. Then she was like, and she loved him. As a matter of fact, so then remember when the security guard came and Cassie all of a sudden, because she knew she had someone that was going to protect her, was like, yo. And to me, it looked like Cassie was saying, yo, just give me my stuff. Give me my phone, give me my laptop, and I'll be on my way, right? And I'm sure she was saying something along those lines, right? Mark Agnifilio was like, Yana, we can't tell what she's saying. We can't tell what she's saying. I said, I can't. But if I had to guess, it probably sounds like something like, you bleep, 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 mother bleep, 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 hate, bleep, 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 F you, bleep, 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 your mom, bleep, 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 this life. That's what I imagine what she was saying, right? So Mark says that what Cassie is like, yo, blah, 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 blah. He's like, no, I can't make out what she said. Yeah, and I can't make out what she's saying. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I can't make out what she's saying, but it sounds to me that she's saying, go back in the room. Just go back in the room, because even now she loves this man so much. She wants to protect this image. I don't know exactly, but I believe she's saying, go back in the room, because even now she loves him so much. She's worried about how he'll come off to other people if he's found to be in the hallway with just a towel and socks. Mark, you getting on my nerves. Mark, what are you talking about? Cassie's sitting there with a blacked out eye. Now, you know, the guy sees her and you can't even tell if her eyes actually black and blue. Mark, the one thing that we cannot dispute is that Diddy was a horrible abuser and he abused the dog mess out of Cassie. Mark, shh. What are you talking about, Mark? What are you talking about? You're now trying to tell us when literally Cassie was arguing with Diddy with tears in her face and this and that she was worried about him and telling him to go back into the house because she didn't want his image ruined. That's when I said, Mark just be lying. He just be lying. Then she was like, when they went back to the room, she was like, Cassie was there for almost 4 minutes. She wasn't afraid of what was in the room. She was just mad because he hit her. But that's how they argue. That's how they are. He literally did the dirtbag excuse that this is just them and they're a passionate couple. Oh, but it's not over. Hold on, y'all. Really quick. Hold on, really, really quick. Hold on. I just have to move things out the way. All right. Hold on. It was ridiculous, but hold on. There's more because I'm trying to find when he started being a sleazeball. Oh, this was just bad. Let's start from the beginning. All right. So also, I do want to say that one thing I thought was really, really funny. When Mark started off, when Mark started off his speech, when it was his time, Diddy was sitting there. Everybody was gaming up. Mark Agnifilo was pacing back and forth. It looked like he thought he was in the opening scene of Hoosiers. He was ready to save the team. It was actually pretty funny, right? Everybody was nervous. Mark Agnifilo, I wonder if he played sports or football or whatever when he was in college, because he has the gait of a ball player or a football player. I don't know how to describe it, but you know how like the athletes in like college and high school all had the same walk? That's what Mark was doing, okay? Where are we at? Oh, Douglas Wigdor and Jane's attorney, Leslie, was there also. Listen, so anyway, before the trial started, they had been checking the audio and the AV, make sure there wasn't any problems, right? They checked it. Everything was good. Mark was already on his bullshit. He literally, as soon as the jury sat down, so all the checking happened without the jury. And as soon as the jury sat down, Mark Agnifilo all of a sudden was like, can you hear me? Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to get me yelled at, but I'll do my best. And I said, he's already on his BS. Mark, put him on the show for the jury. I get it. You're humble. You're doing whatever. He said, this is about the victims. Yana, this is about, no, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. And he's pacing. This is about the victims. This is about the evidence. And the victims' evidence. Oh, they want about the victims. This is about the messages. This is about the evidence. Now, out of the mouths of the prosecution, there's two very different cases, right? This is a case that has been badly, badly, badly exaggerated. It's made up. He literally said that. But when he said that, he had his hometown farm voice on. So he was like, it's made up. He does this thing where he's trying to sound like a hometown farm boy and his voice cracks a little bit, almost like he's being so earnest. Mark Agnifilo, you are an excellent showman. If I ever get enough money and I'm involved in some ish like this, which by the way, I will one day have enough money, hopefully, but I will never be involved in stuff like this, right? Maybe I'll get in jail for trying to start my own cult, right? But the whole point of the matter is he's so good and he's a showman. But I see you, hussy. I got your number, hussy. I got your number, Mark. Because if I was a lawyer, I'd be like, and scene. I would be like, and scene. Anyway, he said, it's made up. And let his voice crack in earnestness, right? He's like, they're the drugs. I thought he was going to say there was no drugs. He's like, they were for personal use. Yana, this is, ladies and gentlemen, jury, this is supposed to be a trial of evidence. And what do you call the world? What do you call that word? And of swingers. This is a lifestyle choice. I said, listen, I've never been a swinger in my life. However, swingers, you're going to have to identify yourself. Don't worry, this is an open community. We won't clown you. But I do have to know, right? Swingers are the third, usually prostitutes, because every HBO show I've saw, when people are swingers, they're either a couple that invites another couple over to chill, and one couple is all like naive, and they think they just going to have some of Betsy's like chicken casserole until they figure out chicken casserole is a safe word, right? So one like really freaky couple is trying to seduce like a little naive couple, right? Or they're like the people going to the bar and being like, oh, I really like you. My boyfriend really likes you. What do you think? Or you know what I'm saying? I did not know that the swinging lifestyle included flying prostitutes in. Does it? Is that what being a swinger means? I guess they're keeping that whole industry open, right? He said, prosecutors charge serious, very complicated statutes, and all for personal use and swingers as racketeering. I said, it sounds about right, right? So then he said, this isn't my first rodeo, right? And then he started kissing the jury's butt. I literally said, you know, my pet peeve is, don't get me wrong, right? When somebody is like, oh my God, you look beautiful. Yeah, that makes you feel good, right? Especially if, you're like, oh, I don't know about my outfit. I don't know about this. I don't know about that. It's nice when other women compliment you, right? 100%. But you ever have somebody compliment you so much? I mean, so much. You're like, what do you want? It's beyond the pale. Mark started literally, I said, who would be dumb enough to believe this? He said, and I gotta be honest with you, this is when he was back to his Midwest boy accent with his voice cracking. And I gotta be honest with you. And even though he sounds like he's not stuttering, but like, getting his words, I think that's even studied. I see you, hussy. I see you, Mark Agnafilio. And I gotta be honest with you. I haven't seen a group of people, a group of jurors as smart, as dedicated, as an intelligent as you are. You guys he said, you guys set the gold standard. You're a credit. He literally wrote, he's really said, you guys are a credit to the jury system. He literally said, and also jury, I have to thank you. I've never seen a group of jurors, a group of people as smart, as dedicated, as intelligent, you set the gold standard. You're a credit to the jury system. He said some other stuff too, but by that time I was just looking at him. I literally put my pen down and was just looking at him like, whatever. If it works, do what you need to do, right? And he was like, listen, but I could talk about you guys for days because we need to get to the most important part of this case, Sean Combs. I said, all right, now we cooking with gas. Right? He says, Sean Combs, hold on. Jamie just texted me. 1 second. Oh yeah, Justin was in court today. He was in court. Justin and Diddy just got sued for doing father-son freak-offs. Now, hold up. It is a Tony Busby special, and we saw the way Tony Busby crashed and burned with Jay-Z's thing. Y'all can say what y'all want, but and all the other Diddy stuff. But I will say, yeah, it's a Tony Busby special. But they swear they have receipts. And ever since that Shannon Sharp thing, when Tony really did pop out with receipts, I said, okay, well, maybe. Anyway, right? He said, I gotta tell you, Sean Combs has become something almost impossible. He said he was hardworking, he built it, he did it, and he is now a Black billionaire. And I want there to be a lot. But unfortunately, I want there to be hundreds of thousands, but I don't think there's that many Black billionaires. I said, Mark Agnafilio, I'm going to need you to stop making race-based arguments when you can tell you don't have... Hear me out. Of course, racism is a thing. And discrimination, even in the billionaire set. Maybe there are racist billionaires, right? I mean, they profit from the things. But here's the thing with Diddy's team that makes me mad. You cannot get a white 56-year-old man to be talking about the man and racism when you can tell you should have Brian still make the argument. Mark, you don't understand the culture. You don't know what you're talking about. You look like you're reading off of Quizlet cards. Mark, shut your dumb ass up. Diddy, stop getting this man to play the race card when he looks like the OG slave master. Stop it. It's not a good look. I'm not saying Mark Agnifilo has a racist bone in his body, but I am saying that he looks like the lead in Django Unchained. And visually, my mind cannot erase the fact that you look like one of the oppressors. So what are you doing making this argument? Is there nobody else here that can make the argument? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's racist. I'm just saying visually, you look like an oppressor. Brian Still is also white. You're probably the same age. He does not, in fact, look like an oppressor. Don't blame me. I do not make the rules on who looks like an oppressor or not. I'm just giving Diddy a little bit of advice. And I'm giving him the advice now because the court is closed. Like, the case is arrested. So I can give this advice, okay? Anyway, I wanted to give it earlier so they could take it, just in case. I know they don't watch my channel, but on the off chance they are, I don't want to give it. Again, I do not make the rules. I just live by them. Brian Still, you don't look like an oppressor. Agnifilo, yeah, you do. I'm just saying, one person, stop it, it's weird. Listen, he said, then he said he built businesses, he made a family, he made plenty of families and destroyed them and got best friends pregnant, girlfriends pregnant, kids almost the same age by a couple of months. Again, do you really want to bring up his messy past? Again, anyway, right? He said you heard people saying that they were moved by Sean Combs, right? Being with him. You heard a Harvard business graduate saying that he learned so much that being with him was like drinking from a fire hose. I said, again, the visual with Diddy, I don't think you need to do this, right? Somebody said he made the world seem big, taught you a work ethic, showed you fascinating things in business. He pushed me hard. I said, again, easy on that. But here's my whole point. The whole time, right? He said, they didn't like him, but they loved him. And I said, you can be the best business person in the world. It doesn't mean you're not raping and pillaging the village. What are you talking about? He said they didn't even want to leave them. Even one person, they said that they were suicidal because she had to leave them. And I said, okay, first of all, you're talking about me. And when Mia's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I want to murk myself. And second of all, I don't think anybody was suicidal from having to leave Diddy. And according to Jane, his gray gums and red eyes flapping. And Jane was trying to let us know that his breath stink because anything that is gray is dying and decayed. And it was in his mouth, right? But when she said that she was suicidal, it had nothing to do with him. It had to do with the way he controlled people's careers. He controlled an industry and he blacklisted people. But whatever, right? He said it wasn't easy. No one remembers the easy things. You remember the hard things. They built character, real life. And he said in real life, you want to talk about, again, he talked about DEI. Mark, I'm going to need you to shut your dumb ass up and go make some beats. Why, sir? Listen, they were with the you want to talk about DEI, the diversity, the equity, the inclusion with the administration? And I said, no, this ain't hitting. He said, well, he's been doing this at 24 years old in Harlem before the government told us we had to do it. Mark, first of all, Mark, I want to see your diversity inclusion in your law firm because something tells me, right? But also, are you serious? Are you serious? So now because what? Diddy hired Black people, we're supposed to ignore what he did to everybody else, right? He said, did any witness get on the stand and say, I'm a RICO member, right? They were arrested, the search warrants, they destroyed his house, the SRT and the cameras. And he said, and also, he's like, look to the second row. There's 6 children. He has 6 children sitting in the second row. And then he said, they're right here. And why is that important? Because then listen, Jane, I don't know where Jane is. He spun around. I don't know where Jane is. But she has a beautiful house for her child for her child. And I don't know where Jane is, but I bet you she's sitting in that house that he's paying the rent on. So wherever she is, I hope she's having I'm sure she's having a nice day sitting in that house that he pays the rent on. I said, oof, even your lawyers be talking grimy, right? He literally said, I hope Jane is having a nice day because they're having it in the house that he pays for. Diddy was a nice guy. He helped people out, right? Then he talked about great job, great job. Y'all, you found Astroglide and baby oil boxes off the street. His business are upstanding. They wrapped crime scene tape around his bedroom. They should have gotten some holy water and some cleansing hellfire and unleashed it into his house to take out those demons, right? Anyway, let's get to he literally was doing, listen. Oh, he also tried to say that Cassie vindicated him. He said, this isn't about crime, it's about the money. Cassie sued for 40 million because he had 40 million. You damn straight. And if you had 30 million and $30, I'd have been like, thank you. I want 30 million, I want 30 million and $29. I'll leave $1 for baby love because she's cute. And I want her to have, I want her to be able to go to aftercare and kindergarten, right? He said, she never sued. There was never a criminal case. And I said, if there was never a criminal case and she never talked to the feds, then how are we here? Because I could have sworn that's what happened. Douglas Widder had Cassie go sit down with them boys in blue and they bought this up, right? And she said, let me tell you something. This case is about 5 things. It's about love. It's about jealousy. It's about infidelity, right? And he said, listen. This one, he's like, listen, we own the domestic violence. I said, that's very big of you when we have you in 4K. Because oddly enough, the North remembers when the domestic violence first came out, you didn't own anything. You didn't want to be a part of it. You didn't want to be, remember you said, I did not do any of these horrible things. And then the video came out and you were like, well, besides that, I didn't do any other horrible things. Remember when that happened? You remember? Yeah, I do. He said, we own the domestic violence. As a matter of personal responsibility, we have to own it. You say that, but then you say that in that hotel fight, you don't know who's at fault. If it was about that, if it was just about that, he would have pled guilty. And I said, oh, I hope Jane sues the brakes off of them and then quotes that. He would have said, shut up. He didn't do the bribery. This was only about this was only about DV. And you know how we know, folks? Cassie brought up the DV, right? She made an IG post. I said, this team loves their MF and IG posts. And can somebody tell those people in the jury IG is not real? I hope some of them have IG accounts. And about the video in an IG post, they said, Cassie said, DV is the issue. Folks, she could have said sex trafficking is the issue. Running away from a freak off is the issue. Instead, she said DV is the issue. Thank you for letting us know what Cassie put on her IG page so as not to jeopardize an ongoing investigation. Thank you, Mark Agnifilio. You guys, we can go home. Jury, wrap it up. Didn't y'all see Cassie's IG post? She said DV is the issue. So she's even green. He's just dumb. And I said, but if Cassie thought the DV was the issue, she testified against Sean Diddy Combs and kind of let us know what the issue was. Listen, he said, believe Cassie when she tells you the issue. I'm asking you to believe her. Okay. He said, imagine what's that like. Her parents, her world, these are horrible issues. But listen, but this wasn't the only time. You act like it's the only time. He said, I'm not going to talk about messages. I'm not showing you any messages. And then he proceeded later on to show the messages, right? He said there were 2 points. They were in love. He called them a love story to span the ages. Yana, they were in love. Cassie, and get this. They tried to this is when he started painting her as a little hoe, which It was steeped in misogyny. I do not think that Cassie is promiscuous. I don't think she did anything wrong. But even if she did, so what? So what? So what? Are you trying to say that we are still in that if a woman is sexually promiscuous, she what? Deserves to be beaten, deserves to be drugged, deserves to be raped? I don't care. Yes, on a personal level, don't date her, get away with her, do all this stuff. But are you trying to say that if somebody is a hoe, it like literally, I'm not trying to be facetious, if somebody is promiscuous, or how about this, if somebody is a sex worker, you're trying to say that they deserve to be treated like they are not human because they forfeited their right to humanity? I'm very confused on these people that are defending Diddy, where they're going with this, right? He said, it's like they were in love. Like, look at the first date. The first date, Cassie, she has a boyfriend. She's been dating him for 10 years. And I said, ooh, you know, good woman. You were supposed to be a virgin until Diddy got you. She was dating him for 10 years, right? And also when she was saying this, I said, but if that's the case, then Diddy should know better. Because we all know you've been around the block. You are the town bicycle at this point, Diddy. And you like to make deliveries in people's mailboxes. I know that analogy didn't make any sense, but I was trying to allude to the way he was getting everybody pregnant, right? He said, so they want to meet. And they had to meet. She had to get away from her boyfriend because there was this much more successful man, Sean Diddy Combs. So Cassie comes up with a ruse. She makes a flyer and she tells her boyfriend she's hosting a party in Miami. And she flies down to see Diddy and he sees her and she's beautiful and she's young and he takes her out on a yacht and they make love for the first time. First of all, Diddy's the one that made up that flyer. And Diddy's the one that made up a fake club event. They made up the fake club event for Cassie to come down to get her away from the boyfriend while he was trying to seduce her. Cassie ain't like Diddy, even with all his power. He was like, she's probably like, his gums are gray. I can't do this. That's probably literally, I'm not trying to make light of anything. That's probably half of the reason why she had to stay drugged up, not just to enjoy those freak offs, but to like, how else do you kiss somebody that got gray gums? Like at a certain point, you need to dissociate. And at a certain point, when the Listerine stops working, like you need something stronger to disassociate what you're doing. Also, when you kiss somebody, their dental hygiene becomes yours. So there's also that. It is spreading an affection, so to speak. Anyway, right? Listen. So he was like, anyway, they said they made love. They said, Cassie is no one's victim. She's sitting with $30 million. The way that Diddy's team is so gross that they are at one time saying that nobody can put a price on anything, but they can put a price on a woman's pain, suffering, on what her body. Everybody's a gold digger, but Jane was wrong to take $10,000 for the house. I can't. They said she's sitting at with $30 million. Diddy is sitting in jail. I said, won't he do it? Yes, Diddy is sitting in jail. Cassie won 100-0. She won. Cassie wasn't a victim. She wasn't naive. She didn't, like she likes to say, didn't see him coming. Cassie was a match, his match. She saw him coming. Cassie matched him. She was just like him. And I literally looked at Diddy and said, the lies you tell. First of all, Mark, you need to stop letting Diddy help you with your closing statement. What do you mean Cassie matched you? And Diddy, what does that say? That you are a grown man with 6 kids, almost triple this woman's age. And you trying to tell us that a 20-year-old matched you? A 21-year-old saw you coming? Diddy, the lies you tell. They said, but it's complicated. This type of love and intensity. It's complicated. At one point, one juror was looking at him like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's complicated. Love and intensity. Mark Agnifilo is hoping that most people have been in a toxic relationship and an abusive relationship like Diddy provided and still have fond memories. Most people can't even fathom being treated like that for anything, no matter what they did. You cannot even be a guilty person and get treated like that. There are laws that stop you from laying hands on murderers like that. Anyway, right? And he said, and listen, if it's not the jealousy, the intensity, if it's not like that, and I'm just going to say it, being jealous that intense, That's the way you should be. You want to love someone, love them out loud. The juror was looking like, what are you talking about, right? And he said, if you want to one day see something that's going to make you cry, read their breakup text, right? Then, and it's sad, it's heartbreaking, it paints a picture that it's not going to work. And why? Because of Gina. Gina wouldn't give up. That Gina wouldn't give up. She kept on coming. I said, why y'all dropping Gina's name so much? And you know what? I used to think Gina was really dumb for not testifying, but now seeing the way everybody's treating the victims, I see why Gina didn't testify. But yet and still, it's so sad that Gina is really trying to still be his ride or die. He has a lot of pimp antics in him, right? He said Cassie went to the funeral. Diddy calls Kim a soulmate. Cassie made an adult choice. He said nothing happened to her. All the witnesses say I was scared. But did anything happen to anyone? So you're telling me that if a mofo pulls a bang bang out and puts it to my head and says, say one more word and I'm going to blow your... That if they don't, then all of a sudden I can be like, nothing happened to me. So why am I complaining? It doesn't matter whether anything happened to these people. They thought something was going to happen. And by the way, they weren't talking about violence. They were talking about Diddy murking them. So the violence is nothing. But if he says, I'm going to release your Smex tapes, if he didn't release them because you came back and did more freak offs, then okay, there's nothing to see here. Oh, there's more. He said and Your Honor, their best times were in bed. Sean was proud. Yes, he was a proud man. He would say, you're not going to talk to me like that. You're not going to disrespect me. The proud man that was cracking women's heads open. Nowhere does Cassie not say she doesn't like freak offs. They match up with sex. They're swingers. Cassie is a woman who loves sex. Yes, he said that and he let that drop. Loved sex. She was intense. She was unafraid. When she wants something, she just goes for it. It was sick. He said, look at Kid Cudi. He'll tell you about Cassie. I'm going to tell you a story. And he said, I don't want to be judgy. So you about to be judgy. He said, remember when Kid Cudi said, Cassie played me? And you look at Cassie. She has this boyfriend that's doing everything for her, talking about Diddy. So she meets this guy, and she's like, there's no ring on my finger. Woo! There's no ring on my finger. You got your boyfriend who put you in the studio with this guy, and you're supposed to be working together, and you see him, and you like him, and you're like, there's no ring on my finger to the guy that put you together. And I said, let me tell you something. Diddy is running his defense team, and he's so eager to get his lick back and to make everybody hate Cassie. He's so eager to get his lick back and make everybody hates Cassie that his defense team was not even doing what they needed to do. And let me tell you something, did he stop? When it comes to Cassie, they could never make me hate you, Cassie. I don't care. I don't care if women open their legs to every man they want. As long as they are feeling respected, do what you want. I don't care. I'm not here to police. Truly, unlike Mark, I'm not here to police what people do in between their legs or with their private parts. When it starts getting into drugging and the violence and the mental control and coercion, yeah, that's when I show up. But the point is, they could never make you hate Cassie. They could never make me hate you, Cassie. I'm mad you didn't cheat more disrespectfully. And I don't even think she cheated, but even she did. I hope you did. I wish it had been even more disrespectful. I hope every time you was making him eggs, you was spitting in it. I hope every single time you bought him a glass of water, you were praying for his death over it. I hope you were literally doing everything you could, because that's what that mofo deserved. Okay, I know I went too far with the spitting. I would never. Yeah, that's disgusting. But no. I hope every time you made him eggs, you spit in it. Diddy deserved nothing good. So for you to try to make me feel sorry for a man that, and let's also not forget the Intercontinental Hotel. That wasn't the first or the last time. That was just what they caught on tape. Because don't forget, prior to that surfacing, they literally lied. Prior to that surfacing, they lied and told us, Diddy lied and told us that he didn't do none of that stuff. You don't remember prior when he was saying, I didn't do any of these horrible things, and now he did them and he takes accountability. But guess what? The girls wanted it too. He said, she had a relationship right under Diddy's nose. Cassie was keeping it gangster. All right. Mark, it's the last time I have to tell you this. I let it go when you played the race card. I let it go when you talked about the man, when you are the man, with your foot on oppressing. But now you are trying to speak in Ebonics. Mark, I'm going to have to ask you to stop. Not for my sake, but for yours. Because now you're looking stupid. Cassie was keeping it gangster. Okay. All right. And I was looking at Diddy like, bold choice, but okay. She's gonna lie to him and him and him and him and get a burner phone, folks. She got a burner phone. Cassie was not afraid. She got a burner phone. She was no one's fool. Who gets a burner phone besides a criminal? He's literally arguing this in front of the jury. And I said, so let me get this straight. Cassie's the criminal for getting a burner phone from some guy that is always beating her and says he's going to murk her or send blackmail tapes. And she's the one that's like, why do you have it unless you're criminal? But we can't ask Sean, why do you have opioids, ketamines, painkillers, drugs, Tucci, Gucci, Lucy, whatever drugs were on the corner, he literally bought it up. Why do you have paper bags full of cash? But we need to question whether Cassie why does she have a burner phone? Okay, I see what's going on, right? She even said on that December 22nd, 2001 thing, I had 2 hotel rooms. She bought a hotel room for her burner phone, folks. And she didn't explain it. She never explained why she had 2 hotel rooms. She got the second room to hold her burner phone. So, gosh, listen. The funny thing is, when he was doing this, one of the jurors who I've been looking at, actually, Mark Agnifilio told the joke, like, she got a second room for her burner phone. And they looked at Mark Agnifilio and was like, and smiled like that. And I was like, I don't like that. But the prosecution called it. Don't worry, right? They said Capricorn Clark said she wanted to get her life back. Her parents passed away when she was young. She said Capricorn Clark said she wanted to get her life back. Her parents passed away when she was young. I'm glad she said it because you know, when you look at Capricorn, he's like, she seems like a nice person, but just seems a little off. And I said, now you're saying that Capricorn Clark got mental issues? You who are representing Diddy is saying somebody got mental issues. But more than that, you say that she's awful and we shouldn't listen to her. But then halfway through through his closing statements, he flips it and he says what? He flips it and says, we should listen to Capricorn Clark because she's not right about everything, but she's right about a thing. You can't do that. She's either right about some things or not right about some things, but whatever, right? She said she met Diddy hanging out for girlfriend and they were super platonic friends, but something was off about her. Something's off about Capricorn Clark. I mean, she seems to be a good person, but something's off. Mark, you know what? I'm going to let that go. Clearly the Ebonics have gotten to your head. Like Mark, Shaquille O'Neal, Agnifilio, shut up, right? And she talked about when Capricorn was like, yo, I had a super crush on you. We misused our dope chemistry. Okay, fine. She texted him that back in the day. Who gives a F? Have you never encountered the fine art of talking trash? Like, okay, who cares? That's like somebody pulling up somebody you had a crush on 5 years ago. Okay, fine, I might have wrote that. Let's move on, right? And she said, look at the way she's talking about her. Look at the way she's talking about him. She was in love with him. She was in love with this man. And I said, I see you got all this mess saying Capricorn Clark was in love with Diddy. But when you had her on the stand and you could have questioned her about it, you were mum's the word. And you didn't try to say that she was in love with Diddy, right? She said, she's like, is this good for RICO? She said that the polygraph tests were lies. She said, but she could have gone home. She said, I wanted to pass and get back to the job. She was unsettled. Okay, first of all, the fact that they're taking everything out of context, Capricorn Clark had just, I think she worked for Death Row. She had been working for around that time in the rap industry, which is why I wish there was maybe one Black person on the prosecution team that could have addressed that. The reason why she did the polygraph when Capricorn Clark was like bought in by gunpoint and she had a polygraph, it's because back then, especially when rap was starting, Jimmy Levine and Clive Davis, they were giving money for street dudes to start record labels. So even though they had record label money, the street dudes were still operating like they were in the street. So I think it was completely normal to Capricorn Clark. I think she had worked with Death Row. She had done this and that to literally see when they thought that she stole $1.5 million in jewelry, which by the way, I don't think the jewelry was ever stolen. I just think they wanted to just mess with her head, that they would come and be like, yo, if you don't pass this test, we're going to throw you in the Hudson River. And she thought if she passed the test, that she would be in with the crew and show her loyalty. Again, these were street guys. She lost her parents when she was 17. She knew the whole code of the streets, right? She said Sean was starring in Raising of the Sun, Vote or Die, and running a multi-million-dollar company. She said that he was not waiting on the edge of his seat for the results of Capricorn Clark's lie detector test. He didn't have to. D-Rock was there. KK, well, I don't know if KK was there, but D-Rock was there. Other people were there. You didn't have to do all this personally, dummy. Hence why the RICO comes into play, right? She said, now listen, you as a jury, you have the right to say, this doesn't seem right. Why'd they charge it? Okay. So the Capricorn Clark thing, they said, now this woman's in love with this man. She's in love with Diddy. I said, ain't nobody in love with Diddy. She said, so at 5:30 a.m., Diddy shows up at Capricorn Clark's apartment and Capricorn lets him in. Not because he has a gun. There was no gun. It's because she was in love with him. And the man that you're in love with shows up at your house at 5:30 in the morning. I said, let me tell you something, Mark. You can stop writing this stupid fan fiction about you can stop writing this dumb fan fiction with one second. Sorry guys, one second. I said you can stop writing your dumb fan fiction, Mark Agnifilio, about whatever is going on. Because you know what it reminded me of? Again, how old is Mark Agnifilio? Mid-50s, early 60s. The type of misogyny that only those type of men can actually bring. Women in the chat and men too. I don't think that the average man knows how much effort women take to get ready to see a man, especially a man they like, which is why men don't understand how insulting it is for a woman that you want to meet on a date and you want to go get coffee, right? It's not the point that coffee is only $7 a cup. It's the point that I got to exfoliate. I might get a facial. I might get a cute outfit. I just washed and conditioned my hair. I literally set it last night, so it is flowing this morning. I did my makeup perfectly done. I made sure I had a fresh mani, fresh pedicure. You don't understand how much work a woman goes through to feel like she has to look like a perfect princess for the first time when you're getting to know a guy. So because we put in so much effort, time, and money into the presentation, the least you can do is buy me some chicken wings from Fridays. Like, what are we doing, right? So the thing is, why do I say this? Because for Mark to believe that at 5:30 a.m., a man that you've had a crush on for 4 years shows up unannounced at 5:30 a.m. and There ain't a woman in the world. That is not, stop writing this fan fiction. We don't go to bed as perfect princesses. You realize we go get cold cream on, the heatless curls, scarves, wrapped up, maybe castor oil in the face. No woman on earth wants a man that she likes or would accept a man that she likes popping up at her house at 5:30 a.m. unannounced out the blue. But he wants us to know that it wasn't because he had a gun. It's because she was in love with him. That was the first thing that made me say, oh, there was 100% a gun. There was 100% a gun. There was 100% a gun there. She said it was 5:30 a.m., but she was waiting for him. She'd been waiting for him for 4 years. She would do anything for him. Ladies, listen, ladies, listen. Man, listen, I don't know. I'm not a man. I don't know how long it takes y'all to get ready. Maybe y'all wouldn't open the door either for a woman at 5:30 a.m. Judging by men, y'all probably got to clean your houses and wash your dishes and take the trash out, right? But my whole point of the matter is I'm speaking from a woman. No woman in the world. She was waiting for you. Writing fan fiction, but you're writing. You reminds me of those shows where it's an all-male writing room. It's an all-male writing room, and they're writing the female character. 5:30 a.m. She's just gonna wake up, hair perfect, come to the door. She walks to the door with sexy lingerie, tightening her robe. Who is it? As her lips glisten and the robe slips down. Who is it? Sean. She opens the door. She has a bare face, but she's more beautiful of a model without makeup. Sean, what are you doing here? Where's Cassie? Oh, really? Oh, why don't you come in? Okay. Can I get you anything to drink? What the hell do you think is going on, Mark Agnafilio? Again, you are writing misogynist fan fiction for what women want, what women will do, and especially popping up at somebody's house at 5:30 in the morning. Anyway, right? I said, this is gross. She was waiting for him for 4 years. She would do anything for him. So there wasn't a gun. But if she would do everything for you, then why did she call Cassie and Kid Cudi? Then he tried to say, oh, don't worry. Cudi said that Cassie called him and said, I'm worried. I gave Sean your address. He might go to your house. But Capricorn knew about that, and they just tried to make this setup for Diddy 10 years ago. But none of them sued for this, so I don't know. But Mark says they're just keeping it in pocket. Listen, they said Sean had everything to lose and nothing to gain. Yes, Mark Agnafilio, that is why we are here, because he had everything to lose and nothing to gain, and yet he still did it. All right. Yes, he still did it. He said, now about the freak off stuff, right? He said the night that happened, he didn't have a gun. Cudi and Cassie said Capricorn never told him that. And I said, let me just say this from a logistics point of view, because I'm going to have to sit this down. Hold on. No. Listen. Because this is what I want to get to, y'all, right? Listen, you didn't have a gun, but you broke into this man's house unarmed, but you didn't have a gun. You didn't have a gun, and you and D-Rock broke into a man's house in California unarmed. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's just really gross. Anyway, where are we at? There's more evidence. Let's get past the Capricorn Clark really quick, because I want to get to the really gross stuff. Let's see. He said Cassie wasn't kidnapped. She wanted to escape the hotel and go to the house. Some physical events really unfair. I don't want to tape movie. Bribery. He said it wasn't bribery. He was worried about the media. And I said, but the media is going to show that you were beating a woman and you had hookers in your room with drugs. So those are actual criminal charges. I said, even if the media got involved, that is still criminal. He said, I think it's also really sick that he was going out of his way to make him into a child, right? He said that he was afraid of the attention he would get. Not the police and not arresting, right? He said and he said, Ellen, then he said, this is after the Cassie video. He said, and then later on that night, like 4 hours later, he leaves and he goes to Cassie's house. And I think it was banging on the door with, I don't know, something, a hammer. Okay, Mark. Okay. He said they can't be guilty of bribery because there was no police. And if you showed the NDA, he said it showed that they could go to the police and they were encouraged to go to the police. Maureen Coleman came and clapped back and said, that's not what the NDA said, stupid. Anyway, what? Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. Judge Era. Okay, listen, you guys are going to kill me. I have to go, but I'm trying to go back on lives later on tonight. But if I don't go back on lives, like, wait, no, hold on. They're calling me. I think I have some good tea on what's going on. Oh, also, while I'm waiting for this tea to come through, it's about the Diddy trial. Let me read a few of these super chats. House of Wives said, have you said the makeup lady's name yet? Lol. Colleen said, you look amazing on TV both days. House of Wives, I heard you. Richard S. Sawa said, Tisa, I hear that one of the jurors seemed to be connecting with Mark during the closing testimony. Is that true? Thanks for your excellent work. They did seem to be connecting with them, but then they got really, really, really gross. Mark Filio got really gross. He literally said that thing about Cassie being raped. He said that she tried the oldest trick in the book. He raped me at the oldest trick in the book. It was weird. Mark Filio was a sleaze ball. He was a he was making some sleazy arguments, and I believe they 100% came from Diddy. They 100%. And at this point, we can't blame Diddy's defense team. They're doing what they need to do. But Mark Agnifilio and the people that support Diddy, again, I get why they did it. Hold on, y'all. Hello? Oh, hold on, guys. Hold on really quick. Hold on. I just got to do this really quick. Hold on. 1 second. Sorry, guys. Sorry. You know the deal. It's a DoorDash. Anyway, hold on really quick. I'm going to answer you guys' questions. House of Wall said, all jokes aside, oh, I'm so proud of you seeing on ABC Live back in front of the courthouse on Nancy Grace. She deserved this and more. It truly was her tone with you that hit me wrong. Oh, don't worry about it. It was all love. You guys are so protective, but don't worry. Mama got a beat. It looked great and it was amazing. Isabel Velez. Oh my God, Isabel. Thank you. This is your third super chat. Isabel, but what is it? Velasquez? Hold on, Isabel. Let me see if I can find your chat and put you on the Summer Jam screen. Restream. I can't. Okay. My 2 cents is my first super chat for anyone. You're doing an awesome, girly. Diddler needs a long time out. Safety for all. Exactly. Deborah Schweeners, welcome to the Tattletales family. And thank you again, Miss Isabel. Also, House of Wild, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. April Steele, thank you. House of Wild said, congratulations on 600K followers. Tisa, oh, I have 600K followers. Thank you. Lynn Rodriguez, welcome to the family. Dory Angel said, 600K, we all can't be wrong. Congrats, Tisa. Wait. Do I have 600K followers? Hold on. Do I have 600? You guys better not be teasing me. Oh my God. You guys, we made 600K followers. Oh my gosh, you guys. We made 600K followers. Oh my God. You guys, oh my gosh, we have to have a celebration for this. Oh my God. Wow. Thank you guys. 600K followers. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm really humbled. Thank you. Sheila Shelley said, Tisa, you're a dose of informative rainbows daily. Thank you, Sheila. Appreciate that. SP said, Tisa, How were the kids reacting to Maureen said, find them guilty? The kids looked really, really sad. They looked really, really sad. Again, I talk about this with the kids. I actually feel really sad for them. They all seem like really nice, really sweet, really good looking kids, like well mannered. Like they just look like really good kids. And it makes me so sad that their dad literally ruined their life. But at the end of the day, I have to remind myself, Cassie was somebody's child. At the end of the day, Cassie was somebody's child. At the end of the day, Jane was somebody's child. Mia was somebody's child. And at the end of the day, these are choices that he chose to do over and over and over and over and over. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh, Amalia, I am a Leo. Said your makeup looks nice. T said, thank you guys. Don Busco, thank you for the super chat. The act, AKT said, that was the most fun get ready with me video ever. I appreciate what you bring us along for the experience. Blessings and prayers of protection. Sorry, guys. Sorry, y'all caught me being like, no, I don't like this blush. I was fixated on blush. Khalifa Yoga said, this whole Diddy thing makes me never want to step foot in a hotel in Los Angeles again. I know that's right. Don't get the sweet. Don't get the sweet. Leah said, I heard that he had 3 jurors and people clapped. Nobody clapped. What are you talking about? I didn't see anybody clapping. I didn't hear anybody. You're not allowed to make noise in the courtroom. But people might have been clapping in the overflow room. But I do think that he had 1, 2. I think I know the 3 jurors that you're talking about. However, one of the jurors that I think Diddy has, this is my personal opinion, they seem easily swayed. And they're always looking to the other juror who's a problem to be their like, mommy, like, I don't know. They're just always like, they just seem like they're easily swayed. So I think the other jurors can flip them. There's another juror that seems like, I don't know, just a little bit weird. When Mark Agnafilio was making those really misogynistic, creepy jokes, they were like laughing at them, like, and I was like, who hurt you? But I was like, I didn't expect that from them. And then there's a juror that I think is a problem because she's very, very strong-willed. But that said, when Maureen Comey was talking, they were listening, you know? Also, Brent Love always said, thanks for keeping your foot on the balls. Don't let up. Doing a great job. Thank you. Christian Aman said, the lies, he better be found guilty. Yana, exactly. Moe Gomes, thank you so much. Dot again said, Jimmy. Oh, Ivine. Oh, it's Ivine? I thought it was Lovine. How did it get to Ivine? Isn't that a L? Okay, fine. It's his name. He would know. Ivine. I didn't know that. Mahakan. Whoa, that means wolves. At Tisa, we appreciate all the time you spent in court to bring us this straightforward. Don't worry, it's not over. I'm going to be there in jury deliberations the whole time. And we're going to be talking about other stuff too. So don't worry. Don't worry. Don't you worry about a thing. Ado Ryan, thank you for the memberships. Famous. FAMOUS Steve said they got to give Diddy exfoliating baby oil in prison with heavy sand or extra jagged crystals and weekly exorcism. I'm waiting to see how he actually turns out in court. Also, the strategic advantage. Oh my God. Thank you for the generous super chat, strategic advantage. Also, M. Stanley said, hi, Tisa. Hi, Tisa. Love my journal. I'm so glad to hear that. And matching tote. Keep doing your thing. Oh, you guys, did you know, really quick, we have merch. You guys, we have merch. We have merch. We have merch. I know for a while, people have been saying, do we have merch? We have merch. I promise I have something you like. There's this, there's sayings, there's slogans. It can be unisex, universal. Please go check out the merch store. The link should be pinned in the live. Oh, also, I was on ABC Live News. Please go over to their YouTube channel and say that Tisa sent you, just so they know that you're in the house, okay? Natasha said, every time Tisa says, at the end of the day in my head, I say the day got to end. That's where I get it from Gorilla, when she's like, at the end of the day got to end, right? Keep up the great good. We're all is ears. Stay thank you. Tuned into what Tisa is telling. Thank y'all. Linda G, you retracted the message, right? Linda G said, Tisa, will you be writing a book about all this? No, I'm just gonna go live and run my mouth for you guys. Why write a book when I can give it to you guys for free? Robin Lynn Griffith, thank you for being a member for a month. And you said, congratulations, girl. Oh, also, Ariel Level Up Riley said, Tisa, congratulations. 6K. I've been praying for you. Oh, Ariel, thank you so much. Brown Sugar said, I got my mug today just in time for the tea. You're a rock star. You guys start sending me pictures on Instagram with the merch and tag me and I'll repost. Please do. If anybody is buying my merch, if you want, send me a picture of you with the merch or tag me in it and I will repost it here on YouTube and on Instagram. And Danielle said, thanks for all you do. Also, the hospital settled with some of the parents. Oh, I'm so happy to hear this. And the NICU nurse doesn't go to trial until February. She requested a trial by judge, unfortunately. Oh, that sucks. If you guys don't know, there was this nurse that was breaking the bones of Black babies, literally. And she might have even murked some. She was a true demon and they called her. And even when she was under investigation, the the hospital still hired her back. It was really sad. I did a story about it, but I'm glad to see there's some justice. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks so much for the update, Danielle. Diddy Dunn said, congrats on 6K subscribers. You're outstanding. Thank you. Cassandra Hicks said, keep up the good work. Thank you. Thank you. Also, House of Wall said, you're right about the blush. Your humility will bring you many more followers. And 3, can I apply to be your favorite June Gemini? House of Wild twin. Well, have you been? I love Geminis. I hope maybe we can have like a get together or a meet and greet or something in New York. I love Geminis. We're going to have it in honor of all the June Geminis and all the June Geminis. The Paris Dream said, did Comey give reclosing today? What did she say? Yes. So Comey did the rebuttal. It was the last word. She said, this man thought he was a god, but he's equal to all of us, and you need to find him guilty. Maureen Comey put her foot on the gas. She put her foot, tomorrow I'm going to give a dramatic reenaction of what Maureen Comey did. She put her foot to the grass and she guaranteed that Diddy ain't never gone. They got that fool. They got that fool. And I do want to say that all these people that supported Diddy and said, I was wrong. I be lying because I actually believe the victims and I'm wrong and all this stuff. Again, I'm not God. And or whatever pretend to be, nobody knows truly what's going to happen. But based off of evidence we see on earth, they got Diddy. That man is going away for at least a minimum. I think a minimum of 20, 30 years. He might even go away for life. They got Diddy. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that the verdict is going to be a fast verdict. There's so much information to pour over. I don't think the verdict is going to be a fast verdict. There has to be people that found that he was guilty, or at least 2 or 3 of those counts. And yes, RICO is one of those counts. Maureen Comey, let me tell y'all, Maureen Comey is the MVP. When I say she put her foot on the gas, this was the perfect closing, and especially countering and washing her mouth out from Mark Agnifilio's grossness. She went to work and disbanded all of Mark Agnifilio's immaterial arguments. Woo, she came through. Don't get me wrong, Slavic did great too. Emily, all the U.S. attorneys are incredible. But Maureen Comey, she's my spirit animal. I just like her style. I love everything about her. I feel like she might be running the Southern District of New York in 5 years. She's still young, but she might be running it in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Like, she is like chef's kiss, chef's kiss. Also, Mikey S said, much respect for the research and bring it back 24/7. You guys don't go anywhere. It's not over. We are still covering this trial and other trials too. Also, YM Joy said, hey, Tisa, my biggest fear now isn't that he won't be convicted, but that Trump won't care what MAGA thinks and will pardon once the check clears. Do y'all really think that Diddy has enough money for Trump? I mean, unless Diddy's backers are the ones doing that. You see what I'm saying? Unless Diddy has some high-powered backers. Unless he has some high-powered backers. I don't see that's happening. I don't see this happening. Anyway, you guys, listen. I'm getting out of here. DoorDash is here, but I promise you there's going to be a lot of videos, and I'm going live tomorrow and all weekend. Just because this trial has gone to verdict, it is not over, and there's still so much to talk about, and we are going to review everything. YM Joy said, thank you so much, YM Joy. Oh, all the way, House of Wild said, oh wait, no, this is old. Okay, I think I got everybody. I think I've got everything. Listen, but let me just tell you guys, for everybody that was sitting here watching my live instead of watching their own money, I want to say thank you, because not y'all, but I want to say thank you to the bottom feeders that supported Diddy, because you guys watched me more than anybody. But I also do want to say this. They have 100% proved RICO. They proved racketeering. They proved transportation of hookers across state lines. They proved so much. And the fact that, oh, Lady Eagle said, Miss Tisa, will you finger tap the phone again? But you do. Well, and Valerie Watkins at Tisa, may the Lord continue to bless you and watch over you. Thanks for all that you do. You're a breath of fresh air. Thank you. Listen, they got Diddy. They got him, and he can't get out of it. And I know he's mad, and I know he's scared, but he had years to change, rehabilitate, do anything. And what did he choose to do? Even when the whole world was looking at him and feds were looking at him, he chose to be a bully. Diddy done said, my prediction, Johnson baby oil stock is going to plummet on Monday. Guilty verdict. You think they're going to come with a guilty verdict on Monday? That would be interesting. Nest Dog said, isn't it 2 out of 8 predicates for RICO? They definitely have them on at least 2, but I think they're also charging the gun separate and obstruction of justice separate, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever they're charging him for, they got him on all of that. Even the way they broke down the sex trafficking, it was amazing. Maureen Comey did her job. Every lie, Mark Agnifilio, everything, she went in there and showed him that can't be true. She went in and said this, listen. Yes, somebody said, imagine, yes, Bizzle said, imagine staying for this whole live to simp for Diddler. Diddler know how to get a glazer. I think half the men and women that are going with Diddy either wanted to be him or be with him, right? Or be inside of him, because at the end of the day, it doesn't make any sense. It's like you're getting, I don't see myself in monsters. I really don't. So when somebody goes after a monster or talks shit about a monster, and especially abuser, I'm like, okay, like I don't see myself. I will never defend an abuser. I will never defend a deadbeat dad. I will never, and abusers can go man or woman. I will never defend a deadbeat mom. I will never defend a deadbeat. There's just certain things I will never defend. I don't care what you did. I will never defend somebody that messes with the innocent. I will never defend somebody that messes with youngins. I will never defend somebody that hurts or disrespects people with physical disabilities, mental disability, cognitive disabilities. I will never, ever say, I don't care what song, what you met. I don't care. You will become dead to me. I don't care. And I don't even care if we are related by blood. I don't care. I will never, ever. And I just wonder why some people don't have that same moral code. It's sad. But those same people that don't have that moral code, I've noticed, and again, I'm not bringing religious in. I'm talking about morality. Morality is nothing but realizing that we are connected. That if your house is burning down, mine might burn down. Like we are connected. And the fact I've realized that like the reason why these people have really weird morality is because I feel like they're living hell on earth. That said, I had an interesting comment from someone that literally said, God teaches us not to delight in our enemy's downfall and be quiet and humble. And I said, one, stop trying to read the Bible for me. And second of all, it cracks me up how many people don't actually understand the word, right? Because I'm going to give you my thing, that whole thing about God teaches us not to delight in others' downfall and be quiet. No, because you don't understand. See, God teaches us to delight, rejoice, and amplify all things he created and all things he brought about. Just like you are a child of God. He doesn't want you sitting there being like, I can't shine. He wants you to delight in his creation, like almost like a favorite child. He likes when we rejoice in what he created. He wants us to be happy with it. I think people get slipped up because when they say do not delight in others' downfall, He's talking about when the devil gets involved and people slip up because the devil made them slip up, not because they were a bad person doing bad things, but because they are a good person who's being tested. And I feel people mistake that. We can laugh. Well, we can laugh and rejoice when God does something beautiful. And again, let me not get into religion because it's going to be a thing. But my whole point is the fact that people don't even realize that they're saying, yeah, the devil can test you too. But at the end of the day, you see yourself that in any stretch of the world, you would be involved in Diddy freak off stuff. I don't see myself in there. And listen, I'm not saying I'm perfect. And I'm sure the devil will test me. And I'm sure all this, but I just know he ain't testing me like this. He ain't testing me like that. He ain't testing me like this right here. He ain't testing me like that. I'm just saying he's testing me with like the newest ice cream flavors. He's testing about whether I can get somewhere on time. He's testing about whether I don't start an argument on Thanksgiving and everybody leave in a huff. That's the way that God tests me, the devil tests me. Not on this freak off mess, but it doesn't matter. To each their own. Oh, also, you guys, really quick. Who said this? Oh, that's what it says. House of Wild said we need a meet and greet and a little more. Yes, a little more South. I don't know about that. Any place that they're in plantations, I'm like, I don't know. Valerie Watkins, thank you so much for the super chat. Sharina Wilson said, hi, T, says 600K subs. Well deserved. Keep it going. Thank you. And F3 in no M3 non, thank you for the super chat. And Mitchie Music, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate all of you so much. Anyway, you guys, let me get out of here. I'm going to go live tomorrow and there's going to be a lot of videos and we are going to get into the Fat Joe case because, yeah, I've been watching that too. And we're going to get into some fun gossipy stuff. Jeff Bezos getting married in Venice. Does anybody care? Baby, I see now why the wealthy hide their money overseas and don't let us see what they're doing. Because now that Jeff Bezos is like, look at me. I'm just like, we all broke. And you got money. We're all broke and you got money. Okay. If you think that's the best thing to do, go ahead and do it. I don't know. I see how the French Revolution started. Listen, anyway, y'all, let me know what you think.